Yo ho ho! What's going on, boys? This is Grim Reaper bringing you after a long hiatus, after a long wait, and it's not my fault, bruh. Murata taking a break too, bruh. If you notice, no chapter dropping. It's not my fault, bruh. Relax, yo. We're back. Tell you we're gonna just let that bit flow. We're about to just talk about the whole arc. That shit was just godliness. We will also be talking about the latest two chapters, though, as well. Satsuki will be leading that flagship whenever it comes time to do that. But, yeah, bros, like the video, subscribe, let's get it popping. So, I guess we'll be talking about, if you guys want to follow along or just, like, know what the scope of the conversation is, we'll be talking about from chapter 93 to 170. In no particular order, and we may not be hitting every single point in every single chapter, or like we're not gonna skim through a single chapter like that. We're just talking about the arc in general. So yeah, first off, what's good with y'all boys?
Man, I know it's been a while since the last podcast. A lot of things happened as far as the break, 1 month break, preparation for the next arc, and just for me personally, it was sort of like this burnout towards the end, because I wasn't too happy with how things played out. But hey, it is what it is. We here, you know what I'm saying? We back, so it's all good. I'm excited to talk about this arc as a whole because I think this is like us talking about it is going to give me a bigger appreciation for everything that transpired, because while things didn't end in a satisfactory manner for me, that doesn't take away from all the great that happened in this arc. So I'm glad that we can like put a spotlight over everything and kind of put it to context. Nah, this arc was kind of hitting.
Yeah, I mean, when Grim said to me, he said to all of us, like, we're going to probably talk about the arc in general, I had to try and think back because there were things in the last couple chapters that made me go, okay, I'll roll with it because I try and trust you as an author. But then when I look back at like the whole arc, like, this is really good. Like, the amount of times we came to the podcast, we were like, Dick, can you believe what's just happened? This is great. This is amazing. It's gonna be definitely something interesting to read in the future as one like long run, especially because unlike other most series, they don't really have the redraws like we do too. So I think definitely having a big read through of the redraws. I mean, just like seeing how things change super quickly, see how it flows as one big arc is going to be great to read through. I think this is a great arc. It's unfortunate like how annoying it is that like the ending's super important, and I get it because the last thing you see from an arc. But we've also been on this for about 8 years now, the whole Garou thing. So to move on to another part of the story is something I'm excited for as well.
Yeah, man, like I'm definitely looking forward. Well, I'm very curious about what could be happening next. Like, I don't necessarily think that we're immediately going to jump into another arc, but at the same time, I'm excited for whatever we're going to be leading into, especially because we have this like seed sprinkled around everywhere about God. We've seen multiple of his so-called heralds showing up and causing extreme havoc. So like, are we gonna see more of that? Like, what's the real cause of the amplification of these monster appearances? Like, and now it seems like the whole prophecy storyline once again still has not been completed. So that's still a running storyline that we're gonna be looking forward to. So like, I don't know. I'm excited to seeing a lot of that. This whole prospect of like not only Suiryu coming through for the Hero Association, not only at least in my personal opinion, the deserved possible speculation of the Neon joining the S class, but now Garou is potentially going to be in a hero position or a hero candidate, if not top 3 rank S class, bro. Like, like the world has been like mixed up and rearranged in crazy formations right now. Kind of similar to how One Piece and Oda do it all the time at the end of their arcs. So let's see what happens here in those dynamics. There's a lot of guys who deserve to like not only be acknowledged, but to have their storylines grow, and that I'm now more interested in seeing. Not to mention the guys who we haven't necessarily seen. Watchdog Man, for example. This was still the first true outing of the S class. Aside, if you want to consider the situation that they had with Melzigard and the Boros attack, this is the first time we're seeing the boys out here. So I'm here for it. I'm excited.
So we kind of talked about One Piece a little. Do you think because of what transpired in this arc that we're going to have a shift in ranks or anything like that? Because I think for sure Saitama has to move up. He has to move up.
Definitely, yeah. Because he's, even just by credit, I imagine they're all going to move up. All the support team are definitely going to move up. Like, something that's happening, Genos is trying to get to the top 10 still. So even in the S class, we're going to get changes there.
That's right. He did say that was his goal when he was talking to Casino. I remember that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'd be interested if anyone else really, well, especially because Bang's leaving as well. So there's going to be big changes in the association. Like,
Fubuki should be shooting up as well.
If she wants to, because that's the whole thing. When you're the top rank, like, you basically get the choice to move up if you want to. For Fubuki, it's like Rider. Rider doesn't move up because he doesn't think he should move up.
Yeah.
Fubuki's just kind of there, so unless like Saitama moves to B class rank 1, it's really the only jump he could do. I'm fine with him jumping there because it's probably
you don't think it's possible for him to do a class jump?
I think he will, but I think like they'll be like, okay, Saitama, you B class rank 1, and he'll let you go. Okay, put me up to A. That's all it'll be because like there's never actually has anyone ever done a big jump like that apart from like the S class?
Didn't he do it? I thought he skipped the whole class. No, he didn't skip the whole class.
No, he went from like 342 to rank 5 in C class. Yeah, he jumps up massive. But
man,
so I'll ask you this, Grim, because I know you're the biggest one for this. Ian, there's now a gap in S class. Is this his jump?
What do you mean there's now a gap in this? Oh, because of Bang's retirement. Yeah. You know what I was honestly thinking? Because Sitch said that stuff about Garou being incorporated to the Hero Association, that he would take that spot. Because
he would take it straight up, or what?
You got Atomic right there, right? Atomic's right there. Then you got Child Emperor right underneath that. They got accolades. They put in work, for sure. Before the redraws, I was actually like voting for Child Emperor to being the MVP of the whole arc, because he took on a G5, then the Immortal Phoenix, and then was coming back up to fight some more. But even Natural Water, that's what it was. Even Natural Water after that, I was like, yo, Child is that thing, bro. He's putting in work. But I don't know, man. Like, because I definitely think, just talking about what I just said about Child Emperor, Ian wasn't that far away from that. Like, he was the one who led the assault on Devil Long here. He even told him the instructions on how to beat him. Like, that was all Ian. And he did with his eyes closed too, one-handed. Oh, Ian led an assault up against a demon with his eyes closed, one-handed, and won. And then went to go fight Evil Natural Water right after that, and survived all the way to the surface. Evil Natural Water became a great lake before Ian was really in danger from this guy. Like, then he took on Homeless Emperor as well. Like, literally the bombardment that Homeless Emperor was talking about for chapters on end. Talking about, bro, I'll bombard your ass, bro. I'll kill the whole world with a bombardment. He did that to Ian, and then just he's eating it, man. Him and Spring Statue just eating it. That's another guy, Spring. Spring has to jump up too, bro. Spring definitely has to jump up too, for sure. He's got to get some.
I get it. Name Spring.
Yeah, like. No.
Okay, we'll talk about Garou. There's no way he's joined the association yet. Like, I know why. I know obviously Bang's like, listen, I'm gonna get him right, and I'll bring him in, right? But and there's people like Sitch. Sitch doesn't care. Sitch made it clear at the beginning of this arc, like, you know, he's like, look, it's not about good people, bad people. It's about humanity against monsters and God, right? That's why he asked for the criminal's help at the beginning. And Sitch has got it, like, even like in the last chapter, he was like, look, as long as we get him on our side, we've got someone powerful to help us against the prophecy, I don't care. Get him in. But there's so many other people in the Hero Association who don't think like that and are super petty and are super, like, will hold a grudge. They think they're just going to let someone like Garou straight back in after everything he's done to them to like discredit them. Like
that's how I felt too at the end of the arc, bro. Redemption. He damn near busted the earth, and he caped too. I'm looking at 2-2 caped. He's the one who blitzed Garou and was like to the second. Dang! Continue though.
I mean, like, if anyone's going to take the spot, it's going to be Suiryu, right? Because Suiryu's like beloved martial artist. They're going to be like, oh, well, not necessarily S-Class rank 3, but I think he's going to join the S-Class. Because, like, there's now a gap for a martial artist. Suiryu's getting back into shape. He's very much like, he's beloved. Popularity's a big thing with Hero Association, so, you know, people really like Suiryu.
Let me ask you
It kind of
this.
makes sense that he's the next person to take the spot.
Suiryu or Genos was the last guy to just join the S class. Didn't touch any of the other classes. How you feel about Suiryu versus beginning of the series Genos? Is Suiryu more impressive? Remember he blew up that mountain when they were attacking the House of Evolution. When he had his arms mode modification, he damn near threatened the meteor. However you want to take that, it didn't do anything. Remember, Bang was like, "Oh, never mind, it didn't do anything." But you know, he was out there letting off that thing. What else? He bodied Armored Gorilla. What else?
Is Armored Gorilla a demon?
Say again?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because that's kind of where, like, I'd probably use start off a basis. Is because, like, it's the only time we saw Suiryu really fight someone strong and actually win was Chose, who was demon as well.
But he was a tough demon.
He's a great. That's a great fight.
Yeah, demon, bro.
That fight's great.
Hell yeah.
So just as a basis, like beginning through, like he could take on some demons, not all of them. But if you're on about like current Suiryu, who's now trying to say, okay, I'm actually getting into shape, because like Super Fight Suiryu wasn't in shape. He was lazy. He was out flirting girls. He was doing whatever he wanted. Like, so.
But that's the only one that we have to see from. I can agree he's gonna come stronger, but let's go off of what we saw him do at the tournament. That guy coming in, do you think like he's tougher than the beginning of the series Genos, and like is he?
It's difficult because especially One Punch Man's all about matchups. Like, yeah, he's super skillful, but one of the first we saw Genos do was like just basically like blow up in a whole block of buildings, right?
Yeah.
So like matchups are super important. They make that super clear in One Punch Man. That like, but I mean, like it's like Evil Natural Water. Like he couldn't do anything to Darkshine, right? Like he was just giving him a bath, yeah. But right in comparison, like he was messing up so many other people. Like he was cutting through steel, no problem. Like the swordsman couldn't do much against him. So it's I can't really answer.
I think they're relativistic to each other in that, like, if they were to like fight the same opponent, you can see them both winning or losing in like the same manner. Like it's not. I don't think they have like an overwhelming advantage over one another. Talking about their, Genos at the beginning and Suiryu in the tournament. They're both like Matt put it in the right way of like, talking about the Chose and the Armored Gorilla thing. Like they both had the capabilities of beating demons. That doesn't mean it could be every demon because there's levels to it, but they're in that tier.
Did you guys have like? Because I'm thinking, I'm scouring through like the beginning of the arc. I'm trying to see like things that we could compare from the beginning to the end, and I'm like, some of the dialogue definitely alludes to some things because we had never seen these guys fight or really flesh out their powers. But like more so, I'm looking at chapter 94 in particular right now. Did you have like any sense of like which hero you thought was gonna like be the most impressive or the strongest? Like, just and obviously it's gonna be a little bit affected by your current viewpoint of them. But like, try and think back to like in the beginning of the arc when we hadn't seen anything about these guys. Who were you like most excited about, or who did you think was really gonna like show out?
You said the beginning of the arc for what we're talking about, this current arc, or One Punch Man?
Like 94, chapter 94.
Oh, well, come on now. Everybody knows I've been a huge Tatsumaki stan, and it of course her rank had something to do with it because we already knew she was second, but just the Esper powers, I knew for sure that was going to be a deadly thing to fight against. Like we seen how she just toyed Genos, like modern art, easy word, missiles. Nope. I already knew what I was going to get for Tatsumaki, so I knew she was going to have an impressive showing. It's kind of hard to like get the bias of ranks out of my mind because I thought in my head, even though ranks doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be that strong, it's not a ranking of strength. It did affect me thinking, oh, okay, this character's going to show me this character's going to show me that. So I don't know if I was surprised by anybody. Maybe Flashy Flash I was a little surprised from. Maybe.
I'm gonna kind of jump on like this. So I'll answer the question in a sec, but someone who I did a complete 180 on because of this arc was Tatsumaki. Like, I was not a fan of Tatsumaki because she was just like this annoying, because she was just like, she just stood around, complained and moaned, and she did stuff a bit, but she was just annoying to me more than anything. Yet over this arc, especially like everything that happened, like when they have that great moment was like, but there's one woman who stands above the rest, and she's still going. She's doing everything, and I have to be impressed. Like, you see, like, learn about her backstory, her real relationship with Fubuki. I was like, I love Tatsumaki now. Like, she's so good. I'm so ready for more Tatsumaki. Well, if we get more stuff with her in the future, I'm on board for that. She's great. But to jump on to what you were saying, Grim, I'd probably have to say the one who impressed me the most was Child Emperor. Because considering where we started, where he had the backpack, to where we ended up with, like, Brave Giant, and everything that went there, like, all the gadgets, all the inventions, like, even his attitude of just being like, I'm gonna go back and help. Like, him really taking the lead in this raid. Like, Child Emperor was crazy good this arc. Like, the others were great, everyone's had their moments, but I had, like, very little expectations for Child Emperor, and for him to show everything he did was insane.
No, yeah, I mean, you guys know how hard I was hyping up the Nova and Brave Giant as like stronger than Dark Shine and all this stuff. Like, it like the character, I loved that sequence, and it's to me what set the standard for the arc to a certain extent. Like, where we see the hero go through a progression of difficulty and challenges, and he got the star of challenges in regards to literally Phoenix Man getting stronger with every single death, and then Evil Natural Water right after that. To the like, when Evil Natural Water saw the sludge, I forgot the sludge monster, I forgot his name, and then sucked him up. Yeah. Pause. In order to not freeze, like. I was like, yo, Child gets the craziest monsters, and it turns out that very same monster, the only one who could bring him down, was caped. Like, like, come on, Child. Who else can we say that for? Phoenix too? I'm pretty sure if anybody fights Phoenix, it's gonna be a tough fight. Garou himself. I'm pretty much, let me not say cosmic, but pretty nuts. You gotta body Phoenix a few times and well in order to really put him down. And Child Emperor did that not only in a spectacular fashion in regard to like the actual plot and what it represented for him as a threat, but like it was drawn so good, bruh. Like, Phoenix isn't top 15. He's arguably top 7, bro. Top 8, top 5 even. Like, designs in the series. And we're talking about including Cosmic. We're talking about including Genos. Including anybody who you could, like, just slobber over, boss. Like, Phoenix Man is up there, bro, for real.
Right. Child Emperor really like showed me something. I know we were talking more so strength, but like the resilience to fight the opponents he fought 2 dragons, and to go back to the surface and still go, I still have a job to do. He really showed his leadership capabilities, because they needed you need like someone to oversee the whole operation. So Second Guard, was doing this thing, but you also need someone on the floor that can direct things as they happen. Someone who is in the trenches as well, and he did his job with the communicators and directing people and everything. Like he was. It's so weird to think about because they didn't interact at all. But he was the counterpart to Garou in that sense of directing people. You fight this person. You fight this person. You fight this person. He was that, and you know, for him to be a child doing that, you know, he showed his worth.
See, that's something I really want to touch on in the future with Child Emperor is the fact he's a child and he's doing all the work the adults are supposed to be doing, but they're all just like slacking off, like they're doing whatever, and he's not really. They've addressed this before, where like it's only small, but like he's not going to school as much. Like I don't think he's going to school because he's having to do all this, so he's not getting to live his life when he should be able to, and the adults are having to, like the adults are doing whatever they want while the kids are having to work. Like, I think this is something good.
And I thought that's what his storyline was leading into before this, because there wasn't a problem. What they're trying to present his storyline now is that, like, he has a lack of confidence. But before, that wasn't the case. Before, it was like, he's doing all the work. Like, and the whole Zombie Man relationship also wasn't the same. Like, if I remember correctly, Zombie Man, in the beginning of his fight, his dialogue was like, did Child Emperor send me all these monsters on purpose? Like, I'm fighting a hell of a lot of monsters. Like, he was even down. He was like, what are you doing, child? And in the beginning of the arc, too, don't get me wrong, he was hyping Child up. He was like, he told him, like, why do you think you're going to lead us? That's a joke. Listen to Child Emperor, and then we'll let you join the team or some shit like that. Like, it was clear that, like, Child Emperor had respect, and it was his job to show us why he had that respect, and he did it.
I'm sorry, because we were going over it. I looked at chapter 93. Like, Zombie Man has like one of the fucking greatest moments where like my mask is like, Child Emperor, like, what are you doing? He literally takes a smoke, puffs it out. He's like, if you want to joke, you should have stopped at your name. Like, that's what he does, and he's so fucking cool when he does it. And he's literally, and that's what he's doing. He's saying like, listen, follow Child Emperor, and then that's when Amai's like, oh, why can't you be killed? Are you a monster? And then like, mate, right, because I'm changing the topic again. Zombie Man is like one of the best chapters of this arc, mate. Like, we got Zombie Man just from this arc.
He's so cool, bro.
Zombie Man is out of that. I was saying all that stuff. Zombie Man is the one that surprised me the most, because I remember when we were talking about matchups as far. I don't know if this was like after, but this is when we had Shonen on the podcast, and he was giving us information about like the audiobooks and stuff like that. And I remember one time he talked about like how Zombie Man could beat. Why am I drawing a blank on this name?
Carnage Kabuto, yeah.
Yeah, Carnage Kabuto. And then, like just hearing that, I was like, the hell? I was like, I guess I'll have to accept. I guess. But then you look at the fight with Pure Blood, and although Pure Blood wasn't a dragon or anything like that, it's the pure resilience and endurance and coming back over and over and over. I was like, okay, I can believe this now. Like it's going to take many tries. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of tries, but I could see him pushing through that now.
Yeah, they did an exceptional job of actually using the zombie trait, because it's like misused in so many different aspects, in so many different ways, in so many different times. But like, man, like, bro, he even has guns in his body. He has a gun in his chest, bro. When you blow that shit open, he'll just bang and just blow your shit, bro. Like zombie dirt, bro. Bro, oh my god, that fight was so good, bro. People out here catching bullets. Flick some, like, bro, what is that, bro? That shit was so good, bro. I'm so hyped for vampires too. If we get something like that, more of, like, man, this arc was good as shit, bro. This arc was that thing, bro.
Just like fights alone, this arc is. I know you don't like us talking about it, Grim, but the Flash fight is so fucking good.
No, I didn't say that, bro. That's just gas, bro. Hell yeah. I'm just saying that Atomic's way stronger than that nigga, especially now with the Sunblade. But no, bro, the Flashy fight, bro, that shit was super gas, bro. The till this day, And I think, and I'll say even this, I will say this: the Platinum, Garou, and Flashy Fight does not do the environmental effects anywhere near as good as the initial Flashy Fight with the ninjas. It does not compare. That shit was spectacular.
Hey, that fight for like an intro fight to this arc, really, that was like the first like real one-on-one fight we had, and that like set the stage for everything else we got.
That was 96 or 97, right?
95.
Super
95.
early.
Wow, that happened earlier than I thought.
Bro. Arc starts at 93. Well, that's where the meeting happens. We have a little bit of context beforehand. This is why it's so hard to pinpoint exactly where it happens, because the monsters start attacking. I think it's in like 59. But we hear about.
Sorry, I couldn't give you a date. I couldn't give you a chapter name.
I think it's chapter 59 where the monsters start attacking. But Kombu Infinity starts talking about how there are monsters that are gathering. Like, he comes actually for the Monster Association meeting. That's what he was there for. Like, so there are hints and sprinkles from beforehand, but officially, I suppose we could technically probably start at 41 where Garou shows up. But that's neither here nor there. Like, jeez, bro. Like, the Flashy Fight, like you put it, set the entire tone for the arc. And it's the whole thing that One Punch Man does better than any other series that I've read. Even Vagabond, I'll say that. It's not a battle shonen, and neither is this. It's the same thing as well. But the fact that you can go from up here to down here, and down here is still that thing, like, bro, the Flashy Fight, and then what was after the Flashy Fight? That's 96. Child Emperor, yeah. We're starting with the there was like a monster that attacked Child Emperor. He killed it. A few little like not demons, but tigers and whatnot.
Yeah, it was like because it was the one female monster as well.
Yeah. He's using his gadgets, bro, exploring all his capabilities, bro. Like, something that interesting. Like, that's the reason why I like Child. That's why I was gonna give Child MVP of the arc, because he was coming out with all of his gadgets. He came out with his arsenal of gadgets to resolve a plethora of problems and dilemmas that presented themselves to him in every single instant, bro. He even pulled out a flute to fuck over G5. He pulled out a gun of rocket launch, bro, a pencil case of rocket launch. Like, what is? That's the compliment. To compliment the Flashy Fight, where they was out there just flying around like the rubble, bro. Like,
everything about that like start, and I think it's so good because you've got literally like even just like the B and C class like getting their moments to shine, like. Just the support team, we see what they're doing. Like, we get Tatsumaki getting to show off a bit when she fights the Evil Eye, is it?
Yeah, Evil Eye.
That crazy good monster. Grim, you'll love this when Rhino Wrestler's like doing his thing.
Oh yeah, he was then like clapped.
Then Atomic Samurai, just like you don't even see the attack, it just happens. That was great. Then you got Flashy. Then you got Child. Then you got the Zombie Man intro.
Yeah.
Like, that was just a straight. And like, I will say. Like I said, definitely reading back's going to be better because the redraws really made that seem like a long time. Like,
yeah.
And there's like ups and downs with the redraws. So I think, like, would you rate this arc any lower for the redraws? Because obviously in the future, like any new readers come into this arc, I mean, they're not going to have to experience these things like we did. But as readers for the first time, there were a lot of times where things got delayed or like we weren't experiencing this new parts of the story because they decided to go back and retweak all parts of the story.
Yeah.
I definitely think it changes our perspective as people who were reading it week to week and were privy to all the different revisions and original versions of it. I can't say whether it's worse or better. Objectively, in my personal opinion, I think it edges out for the better to a certain degree. Only and solely being carried by the cosmic redraw, because we have to remember that it has to be considered within a redraw category. Working against that is the whole like Child Emperor, Phoenix Man stuff, and the removal of Oh my god, that shit was muddled up.
You still upset about this?
Why would you take away the FAS, bro? Like, come on, bruh. Like,
this was actually like 3 years ago. Let it go, mate. Come on.
oh, bro, like I still remember reading that. That video's still up. The video's titled "Why I Dropped One Punch Man," bruh. It's a whole reaction video of the chapter, and it not being there, and I dropped that.
But yeah, okay, right, Grim. What do you prefer? I'll ask you this: Focus Atomic Slash or Sunblade? What's your preference?
Focus Atomic Slash.
Wow,
Without
really?
question.
That was fast.
Without question, bro. I'm not.
Fast as a flash fan.
At one point, I was bashing on the Sunblade because it's like some trope, like, oh, it's the blade or whatever. Like, I didn't necessarily like that. I've since realized and expanded my viewpoint and realized that there are a multitude of different storylines in stories where they use weapons or objects to the benefit of a character in multiple different ways. So I can't necessarily judge it on the first hand. But to have, bro, it's the explanation, bro. Like, the very explanation itself was a feat. Like, Atomic was just falling down a tunnel, bro. A whole gang, bro. A whole load. Pause. Of sperm just falling down a tunnel at him, bro. Just full force, man. And he's sitting there thinking like, oh yeah, I remember there's an alien out there that I fought before. Yeah, he was tough as fuck to beat. I couldn't cut him. Yeah, I know motherfuckers like you, but I got this technique for your ass though. Bro, a whole technique made it from Melzigard for niggas who you can't, who neutralize his blade basically. He just cut so many times, so fast in one. Bro, it was that thing. It wasn't some secret power. It was just Atomic's brains. He was like, oh, I'm this strong already. I'm gonna just do this and bust your ass with it, bro. It was the epitome of character building because just like Zombie Man's cool and badass, the demeanor and the badassery of Atomic is in a different avenue, but it's still that same like Chad-like demeanor, bro. He's just sitting there, bro, and he's always right, bro. The first badass thing we saw him say was come up behind Yan. He was like, hey, Yan, stop bleeding, bro. Your journey on the way to the sword ain't done yet. I'm like, nigga, what? That nigga badass, bro. And then he went to just chopping shit, bro. Went to just chop, like, Atomic at every single stage has, like, impressed me. The only thing that hurts me is when he slapped Satama's hand. He was like, get strong, bitch.
I know, trust me. I'm waiting for the comeback on that. That's gonna, yeah.
Oh, shit, like, they're, like, bro. Back to what you were saying. The redraws, in general, I think, in my personal opinion, I would say they've improved the story. Although there are a lot of things, including the Orochi fight, that I think are extreme negatives for the continuity of the story, even though I guess it was for the sake of adding or repairing any continuity issues, as well as story development and whatever the plot is. Objectively, though, speaking as like just a person reading and criticizing the story, I think that they will be helpful for the story because, as I just said, they're to fix any problems that in hindsight were made with the releases of the chapters, and they should improve continuity issues and maybe even build more character development for certain characters or give them problems to resolve later on.
I think I have like mixed feelings on the redraws. I think we all do. So I don't know like where, like if I would lean towards as good or as bad. I'll just kind of like go over the pros and cons. First of all, it definitely hurt my enjoyment of the entire arc because how you experience it is going to just affect things. As any One Piece reader who's been reading One Piece for a long time, how they feel about Dressrosa as to someone who watched it or somebody who was able to binge it. You will get completely different opinions because when people were reading that arc week to week, it was like a decreased morale because of how it was coming out and how dragged out it felt. Now, when it comes to the redraws, it it wasn't as bad as Dressrosa, but it just gave me a sense. It was a point at One Punch Man. I was like, I was like, I don't give a fuck about these redraws. I did not read One Punch Man for a period of time because of the redraws, and that affected how I felt about the series as a whole, or the arc as a whole. I think the redraws, a majority of them, what we saw, good things happened. But I also don't like the concept of redraws. Because for one, I'm gonna be on my old man shit. I just don't like the fact that Murata and One could just go, nah, we gotta get a restart. We gotta get a redo on that. I don't like that. I'd rather them just figure things out what they already wrote. Because like Grim was talking about the Cosmic Garou thing, like how we had the fight end with Garou and Saitama when they were sitting at the table or whatever. I feel like he could have wrote around that to where maybe you don't necessarily get everything that we got with the Cosmic Garou stuff, but you could have got to that same point some way, somehow. I mean, you're a writer. Like, you have endless creativity and you could do what you want with the story. But I don't like the concept of it, because then I'm always in fear of whatever I'm reading could be changed completely, and I have to roll with it. I can't say I had to follow this new continuity, and that is what it is. What it is. Like, to this day, I still don't I don't know if I remember this arc correctly, because I don't remember if it's redrawn or not, and that messes me up.
Oh shit.
I think the thing with redraws is we experience something one way, right? And we're like, cool, this is the way. And especially when things change, like, there's definitely times where I'm like, I preferred knowing in your head that it was definitely a different way originally. Like, you kind of go, but I like the first way it happened. Like,
Yeah.
so certain things. So like, so certain pros and cons, right? So I'll give you a couple examples. I preferred in the original how the Child Emperor fight went down. Like, I think that's a better fight, because there's also the sense of time, like pressure on Child Emperor. But in the new redraw, I like what it does in terms of trying to explore like Child Emperor kind of like the X-Man doing it a different way, where he's like, okay, I'm trying to reason with you, not just fight with you. So, like, a Mind Mask, one thing I really liked in the Mind Mask original was how brutal he was. Like, I know, like, they wanted to try and save the Rinky's private squad, but in the original, he just tears through them like nothing. Like, no concern for them at all. It just was, like, a great show of, like, the savageness, like this dark side he's got. And, like, we don't even see him kill Does. Like, it's just, like, an off-screen death, and it's, like, implied he's really just brutal with her. But then there's other stuff I do prefer. So, like, I personally prefer the Orochi redraw, because, like, what it does, I prefer, like, Orochi's final design more, like, gives Saitama a couple more moments, and, of course, like, the stuff building up with God. And, like, this is why if someone goes to me, I prefer the original, I prefer the redraw, I can't really argue, because you've seen both ways, and you have to kind of accept the new way, but there's always a sense of, like, this is how it was originally intended.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Wagamma, I don't like what they did. I preferred him when he was just a little shit, when, like, I actually just hated him because he was the real villain of the arc, and then they turned him into, like, Tario's friend, and I'm like, no, you were great when you were awful, so when you learn a lesson.
Because it kind of concludes the storyline. To have him as a consistent problem, like, not necessarily he's going to show up again, I'm just saying, like, to not resolve his storyline, to keep him an asshole, that would have been kind of satisfying. You touched on a little bit, because I agree with that. I definitely think that the fact that we read it first definitely, like, is gonna change our opinion as to how we see it. Like, this is, oh, but you should have done it, kept it that way, or like, it'll affect our opinion. But we can also accept, like, for example, the cosmic scenario where the redrawn version was clearly better. so I think it's fair to accept that people are going to like different things and understand that one is the final say. What I didn't, you touched on it a little bit, I really didn't like the Amai thing. I think it removed his intensity. I think it removed the growing mystique of how dirty he was. Because if you notice, or if you remember, not only was Fear Ugly's dialogue were really like grotesque and like dirty when he came to the surface, but his actions were pretty dirty too, bruh. Like he was the most vicious of all the monsters. Really, he was, at least in his actions. That's what it displayed. It would a great parallel to have a Mai on our end with already that mystique and mystery building up to be matching that same intensity all throughout the arc. I honestly think either. Okay, I trust and believe in one. So I think the fact that he did nothing, he got humiliated the entirety of the arc, has to be for a plot reason. It has to be for a storytelling cause. Like, it's setting him up for something. But if we don't see that addressed here soon, like, in the next time we see a Mai, like, on his own, or, like, as the focus of the chapter, for example, addressing the fact that he didn't do anything, that he was scared the whole time, or if that isn't presented as a dilemma for the character, then I think it's bad writing on a Mai's part. Because it wasn't just the community who was sucking a Mai off. It was not them. It was one too, bro. One was out there like just topping him off, bro, giving him that sloppy toppy, bro. That gok 9000, bro, with the double twist at the end. Like they were hyping a Mai to all hell, bro. Like even in the chapter we were just talking about where Zombie Man confronted a Mai because a Mai was confronting everybody, talking shit to everybody. Like I should be leading this. What's going on here? You guys are slackers. You're trash. What's going on here? At the end of that confrontation, Flashy Flash lets out a little gasp of air. Like he was like, was Flashy getting intimidated by a Mai?
No, not that chapter, mate. He was ready to kill him.
Okay, all right.
It's more so like, thank God that bitch boy stopped talking.
Okay.
What is fair is like the community's building it up, and everyone, like, if you look at it like a consensus, like obviously the world of One Punch Man loves a Mai mask, you know. Like if we look at it like that, like celebrity, idol, heroes, got all these things. But you look at the people, especially in this chapter, looking back, like people who really helped out in the raid, like Tatsumaki, Flashy, Zombie Man. They don't give two shits about it. Like the whole thing is like they like. What is it? Tatsumaki says something the moment he enters the room. She's like, "What are you doing here?"
Oh shit!
And then like the Zombie Man doesn't have time for him. Flashy doesn't, like when he starts going off. It's like Flashy's ready to kill him at one point. And like this
little pop star.
No, that's it. He shows up and then he's like, "Why only S class? Why was I not involved?" She goes, "You want to know why? It's because we all hate you naturally."
Yeah,
like,
bro.
Yeah.
I forgot how much shit Tatsumaki was talking at the beginning to everybody, bro.
That was, to be fair, as I said, I wasn't a fan of her, but I liked that moment. When that happened, I was like, yes, Tatsumaki, that's great. I want to talk about, well, I know we're jumping from points, but because you brought them up, I want to talk about the Monster Association, in particular cadres. Like, now that we're done with them, what are our general thoughts? Like, how do they go as a monster group and the group and the monsters themselves? What are your opinions? Because I think with us three here, let's face it, we all love Fear Ugly. Like he's like top tier One Punch Man monster, without a doubt. But I'd like to hear generally your thoughts on the cadres now we're done with them.
You want to go ground?
So it's hard because I don't want to compare them to other series. Just looking in on the story of One Punch Man, they were menacing, but they were brief. And that's... I can't find any fault in that. I can't find any other way or any method to like keep a monster around indefinitely because we just don't do that. We just don't do that. And it's never been to a negative. But I just liked their presentation so much that I would have wanted them to stay. Like that's how much I liked seeing Fear talking about some. Well, I wonder what kind of panties she wearing. Like that was, bro. Like Fear was so, bro. Fear was what I wanted in these stories, bro. Like, that's why I dropped shonens because they don't got niggas like Fear in there, bro. Just looking for panties, bro. Hisoka don't count, or not Hisoka. What's the guy's name in Hunter x Hunter?
Which guy?
The who?
Which guy?
The sweet guy, the clown.
Hey, you're about
Hisoka.
Hisoka.
Oh, that's his name. Okay, yeah, Hisoka. Yeah, I'm trying to get after them. Them
I'm
golden
sorry,
cheeks.
I'm not sure I liked your idea. Yeah, I just want more like you. Like real scumbag. Like,
Yeah, bro. Like not censoring the scumbaggish or the scumbaggery, whatever you want to call it, bro. Like some real shit out there, bro. And Fear fulfilled that, bro. But homeless, bro. Bro, whole arc homeless was that, bro. From walking up behind zombie, like, are you really worried about that? It's just blasting his ass point blank, bro. The badass orbs inside, looking at bullets, bro. Looking at bro, homeless whole time was that thing, bro. Comes to the surface, surprises him, bro. I think. Let me not say that. I was about to go way too far, bro. Top 15 moments of the arc is seeing homeless's orbs behind Amai, and Amai's like, huh? I was like, bro, what the body? The whole association about to get bodied, bro. We was about to get the cottage in the surface, but like homeless in the symphony, he went at the Tatsumaki, bro. When homeless went at the Tatsumaki by himself, I was like, what are we doing here? How do you stop this nigga? Like, what are you talking about? What are you doing with that? Like, with a symphony? Bro, it was, and then you can't, I can say homeless was that thing. But do you know who fought everybody, bro? Everybody? Like, there was not a single hero who did not fight Black Sperm fought everybody, bro. The whole association. Everybody who assaulted the association fought Black Sperm, bro. And they didn't win. They weren't winning. They were not winning. That was not the case. Black Sperm was...
yeah, he's moving faster than sound. It's incredible.
You see how fast, bro? It looks slow, but I'm moving fast as hell, bro. Fast as hell. Yeah, bro.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That was the grim stroke, people.
Yeah.
It's like you've heard of the flashy slash. That's what that is.
Like, you can't even see it, bro. It won't even follow it, bro. It's moving so fast.
Okay, actually, we were joking. Stop this now. That's going too long.
Oh shit! Listen, bro. Like, I'm not even talking about golden or platinum. I'm talking about black. Fought everybody, bro. Everybody, bro, including a Tatsumaki, including a Dark Shine, including a Bang and a Bomb. They're like, stop, bro. They even brought in more heroes, and he fought everybody. They brought in Samurai. He fought everybody. Black Sperm fought everybody. Like, I can't say anything else but, like, what do you want me to say, bro? Gums. I will say the Gums Fear tandem at the beginning of the fight set the tone for the surface fight. Them going back and forth with Tank Top and Pig God set the tone for the surface fight. I loved that exchange. And then having other heroes interfere with that, oh my god, bro, like who did I miss out on? That's Goketsu.
Keep going, yeah.
Man, would it have been a whole different situation if Goketsu wasn't on the surface? If he was on the surface, a whole nother problem, bitch. Like, EC?
EC?
As one you guys haven't talked about, I'm really surprised.
Bro, who? Is even Natural Ocean even a cadre? I think he was. No.
That's not who I'm on about.
No, bro. Listen, bro. Even Natural Ocean. Okay, yeah. I'll give you Goketsu. I'll give you.
I'm not about Goketsu.
Hey, bro. I'm talking about EC, man. What's he talking about?
There's 3 you're missing.
Oh yeah, and then Neon.
Oh, sorry, 4. I forgot about Neon because everyone loves Neon. He's so memorable.
I'm missing 4 cadre. I'm not. Are you including the sperms? The other 2 sperms?
No.
Okay. I'm missing cadres. What the heck?
Missing a big one.
Yeah, he's massive. He's even overgrown, some would say.
My boy, bro! Bro, roll that thing, man! Bro! What? Stop, bro. Homeless Fuhrer. We got sperm. No, bro. No, bro, Garou was like, I cannot run away. I can, bro. Point blank, Rover. I cannot run away, bro. What is this? When have we seen Garou petrified, bro? He like, come on, bro. Like, those EC and Rover bump up the cadre stock to like crazy, bro. Because they had their own, especially in particular, EC had his own damn near storyline built around him, or he was a resolution of an entire arc, if you will, or portion, if you will. And then Rover, bro, as a taste of the cadres, along with Orochi right after, bro. Oh my god, bro. Like, what a question, man. My fault, bro. I went on for like 5 minutes now. Satsuki.
I think the cadres as a whole, this is something I respect about One Punch Man. The cadres weren't like this deep, or I guess the Monster Association in general, they weren't like this super deep organization to where like we're getting into the characters and they all have like this fleshed out backstory and we're supposed to feel sympathy for them. They were monsters to the core. Like that's what they were. And they deliver on what they were supposed to do in terms of just pushing the heroes. Some people may have an issue with that, like, oh, but as an individual, like, do you really think like Rover is like a great character? Yeah, I do, because Rover was up there fucking people up. That's all I needed. No talking. Boo, bop, bop, bop. That's all I needed. Kept it simple. Anytime the arc focused on those individual fights, everybody was engaged. And the cadres just deliver. I think the only one that didn't deliver was Gums. That's it.
Yeah.
Everybody else, even Yan, even Yan was like, while he didn't have like a powerful outing, he was still on the surface. Mm-hmm. he said, okay, y'all boys a little too powerful down here. I'm gonna still show y'all while I'm with the shits. He said, okay, this pond a little too big. Let me go to the small lake. And then he was fucking everybody up there.
Mm-hmm.
Black Sperm, come on now. That's what we gotta talk. I don't even like the other forms. Just Black Sperm. Come on. That's cash money right there. Pure Ugly, the embodiment, the personification of what we think a monster to be. All the qualities that you would fear in a monster. He is that. Ugly as a motherfucker. Brutal. Has the power to do what he says. Perfect.
Literally. Forearm came and punched.
And I really like Homeless Emperor just because he started off as a human and he was bestowed upon that power. It just shows you that, at any time somebody can get this, like a random homeless person can get this powerful. That concept in of itself is scary.
Yeah.
So like the cadres, they all did their thing. I know like people would want more depth towards them, but in terms of what they did and pushing the heroes to show us everything that they had in their arsenal, art, everything, very, very solid group. I was satisfied.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I agree that like there's a lot of things that they do super well. Like they all have unique designs for a start, which is super good. Like, there's so many, like, I can think of other evil groups where they all wear, like, either similar clothing or they don't look, like, that different or any kind of, like, groups. And sometimes that could be a downside because you're like, wait, who are you again? Because there's too many of them. Like, this had enough. Like, my only downside, like, I agree with Satsuki, really was Gums because I don't really feel like he did much in the story. Like, he had a couple moments, but not, like the MVPs really were Homeless, Black Sperm, and Fiora, and I don't think any of us here would disagree with that. At least in terms of the ones. Well, I see Grim looking because of Rover, but I'm talking like
even natural water.
The raid, yeah,
even natural water.
Like the thing with even natural water is I kind of rate a bit because there was such build up for him. Like we were all like, this is the monster who can't be controlled. Like he can't. Like he has to be locked up for a reason. And he had some great moments, but like we just kind of got beaten. Like we said, like he just got punched. And that was how they beat him. which is fine because it shows how strong he is. But you compare him to like, say, other forces like we had, like other monsters that are just forces of nature, like Rover or Black Sperm, you know, where they're just constantly going at them, you know, and like some of them like really filled their role super well in terms of just being like absolute just like monsters, and others filled the roles more like villains. Like Orochi was super good as just like a force. Like, I mean, it's technically not part of this, but like Garou versus Orochi is one of my favorite fights in this whole series because he's just such a menace. He's like unstoppable. And it's so good to watch. We haven't even talked about Psychos. We didn't even touch on Psychos or Garou at all. Which is, yeah.
And Psychos is the one who gives us like the link to an actual story, you know, a connection to the characters and whatnot. And the fact that hasn't been, like, we touched upon it, but there's still obviously more to go with that.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, of course, Homer Sembra, who's our window into the lore of One Punch Man. Like, bringing, like, because of him, we know so much about God. And, like, we should probably talk about God soon as well. But, like, just these guys did so well. And, like, I think Grim said it really well, where they were fleeting, which is what you need in a One Punch Man monster. Like, you don't need them around for a long time because they're not going to, because the series is One Punch Man, but they make an impression while they're here. That's why so many chapters later, we're still talking about things like Goketsu, where he barely did anything. Deep Sea, where they, like, I used Goketsu because he barely did anything, but we're all like, yo, he was crazy. Are you kidding me? Like, he threw one punch and then he went away, and we're all like, this guy's an absolute terror. Like, his impression, he was so there for so short, but his impact is there. And, like, we're going to remember the cadres because the impact's there for them.
I definitely, yeah, to mention Garou and Psychos, like, just lining up the Martial Association, the big boys, that's a task, man. That's a task. Like, and I'll definitely be in agreement with even Natural Water, because we could definitely say that, as you just pointed out, we're not necessarily going to get the greatest presentation, the longest presentation for some of these monsters in particular, but he did get multiple appearances. And it's not as if there aren't other characters who had more potential who weren't necessarily like fulfilled. Like, I think Homeless had his potential fulfilled for sure. Like Homeless, like whenever Zombie Man had him by the throat, and you know, that to me was a fitting end. Like, that's what I was actually looking for, to have Zombie Man come back and defeat him, and then that was going to be a domino case for all the rest of the heroes. Like, I was really hoping for Atomic Samurai to be the one to defeat Black Sperm. I was really hoping for Phoenix Man to come back and Child Emperor to be the one to actually finally defeat him. You know, I kind of wanted to see a confrontation of Darkshine and Garou on the surface, like, just to have him run through that again, because we were kind of getting a little bit of dialogue of like a little bit of redemption or like of improvement in Darkshine's demeanor. Not to say it was going to be the case, but I was hoping for that. I was hoping for a rematch between Genos and Garou on the surface. Like, there were a lot of opportunities that I think, because of time constraints, I don't know why, but I wanted to see those things, and I think it's lost potential. Like, not having, whatever you want to say, the setup for having Phoenix Man bring back monsters with his light, to have all the monsters fighting on the same battlefield together, like, what? How crazy it was, that potential. Like, to have Phoenix Man around with the brilliant light, have Fear Homeless actually go down as a human, and let's say that, like, Gums. Let's say maybe even Garou came to the surface, made another, or Psychos came to the surface, made another Garou, whatever. Like, let's say some shit was actually happening like that, and you bring them all back. Like, that's really a perilous situation. That's like, that's hard enough to deal with all these sperms. Like, I definitely feel like there was a lot of missed opportunity, or no, I won't say a lot of. There were certain instances where there were missed opportunities, or where I personally would have loved to see different things happening. But overall, I think the candidates were not okay, not enough, but exceptional, more than great for what the arc was.
I think what helps their case is that they won fights. A lot of the times, like, this is one of the issues I had with Bleach. I know we should stop comparing stuff, but one of the issues I had with the Espadas is they didn't win. It's kind of like they show up, they look cool, and they just lost.
Yeah, I think to be fair, because of One Punch Man like parodying a lot of stuff, I think comparisons are okay, especially when we're comparing like groups like this, because that's a super valid point. Like, I mean, we were talking about Bleach before the podcast started, and like you got characters like Stark who they really built up as like he's the strongest, he's unstoppable. Like you can't go near him or you'll die from his pressure. And then not even a Bonkai kills him. It's just kind of like it's stuff like that, like where the build-up's there. So to actually, it's similar to like I compare it more to like a good group is like the Chimera Ants from Hunter x Hunter, where you feel the pressure, you get that if you go one-on-one, you're going to die. Like it's not a question of that unless you're Netero. But to have that kind of pressure for us to go, these guys are actually a threat. They did their job really well.
Yeah.
So you brought it up, so let's get to it. God. So the moon thing was so badass. Like till this day, right now, whenever I see the moon, that's what I think about. And it's funny to have a story make such a strong association with that. Like, that's really badass. The fact that like when I look up at the sky, I see a circle in the sky, and it's the moon. Is that God looking down at me? Like that comes into my head now. That's so badass. Like I love that subtle aspect. Like the imagery we got in the at the climax of the Garou fight with Saitama, with Jupiter just towering over Saitama. Like the imagery in One Punch Man is so good. It's so good. Like the art here, it communicates so much. And like we still can't decipher God. We have more concrete facts here. In general, though, I think this is a spectacular presentation for a final villain. For a bigger villain, not even a final villain, for a later on villain. And I think
it could go anywhere. I mean, like, you know, if Boros is still stronger than God, like you think, then you know.
Listen, bro. Bro, I was just saying at the time, God ain't got no feet, man. But now, shit. Garou was like, and then sent Saitama to Jupiter. Like, whoa. Let me die.
I think something I really loved about God was just the attention to detail Murata did. Like, just with the moon, even before like we saw anything with God, like. Just if you can go back and read it, but like I remember picking up on it as we went along, was like anytime there was either like a big feat of power or something serious happened in the story, the moon was always in the shot. Like there was just that small. So like if you caught it when you're reading, like every time we see the moon, something big happens, the moon's in the shot. And then like when it gets you get the big reveal, then it's like, right, this is what's going on, because obviously as it went on, the crater on the earth, like an eye, and I just thought that was a great touch for this arc.
There's even speculation. I don't agree with it, but people talk about it all the time. There's a panel where I think Tatsumaki's struggling up against Sairochi, and then we get a focus on God, the moon in the background, and then she starts spewing up blood the very next panel, and people are like, "Yo, God influenced the fight, or God did something, or something like that." Like that's like I can't remember another storyline or another story that did it or has done something like this or something similar to this, to where like, but not even, I can't remember.
Yeah, I like the whole lore and how we build up to a potential final villain and God, because not only does this set up for this big big fight for Saitama to have to be, you know, feel truly alive. It gave relevance to Blast, him coming to the story, because he wouldn't come into the story unless it was a threat of this level from what we've seen thus far. He didn't come here for Boros. He didn't come here for Garou as he was getting stronger. It was until Garou got the influence of God that he came into the story. Well, he came into the story before, but you know, to get the cube and whatnot, but to actually fight and to do something the whole time, I'm like, Blast, you're the number one hero. Do something. Like, when is it going to be time? And we finally got, you know, what it took for him to be in the story. And like I said, this is just building up towards things to what I think is going to be the end of the story. So yeah, I like that we got this stuff early. There was some sacrifices made, like with the whole Phoenix Man stuff to try to tie things in. The redraws, of course.
Bro, imagine if God would have revived or would have given power to Phoenix, man. Oh my God!
Beat his ass,
bro. With a clapped cosmic. God boosted Phoenix with a clapped cosmic. God blessed, or yeah. Let's go with that. Blessed, resurrected Phoenix. Oh my God, that sounds so good, bro. With clap cosmic, man. Confirmed. It's confirmed.
I think definitely with the lore stuff as well. Like there's so many mysteries in One Punch Man now because of this arc. Like, we've got so many questions for what's going on next. And Grim said this a bit at the beginning, like, we've got a lot to go into next arc. But even just with the lore, like, we've got an ending for this, but we've come out of here with more questions than answers still. Like, everything that's going on with God and the cubes and the moon and the wishes, you know, like, the certain answers we got. So especially, like, the main answer I took from a lot of the God stuff was, like, if he ever gives you his blessing, you're dead. Because not even Garou could get out of that, was what they established. So if anyone gets a blessing, that's, unless there's, like, some kind of thing they can discover in the future, that's it, you're gone. Because they're going to lose at some point, and that's all it takes. But even, like, the stuff underground with, like, the worshipping of God, like, bringing him back, like, what's going on and then what's going to happen with, like, how is God going to, like, affect stuff in the future? Because, like, a lot of big bad monsters have just disappeared. So is it going to be, like, this is pure speculation off the head, like, is it going to be, like, heroes who feel like they've been wronged by Garou, who are like, I'm in a bad place because if Garou joins the Hero Association, they're looking down on me. I'm in a, and then God's like, fervent wish. It's just crazy what we've got coming up.
Oh my God. And that's not even just because we could say this prophecy that's just talking about is God. We could say that, bro. But niggas thought it was Boros. Niggas thought it was Orochi. What if God is not the prophecy, bro? What if Saitama was the prophecy? Isn't this like the first time that I think technically Saitama threatened the Earth? Saitama almost destroyed the Earth. Guess who stopped him? Blast.
And Beast King. See, that's another question as well. Like, what's going on with them? Like, what is this, like a time? Is this like people from different places of the universe? Is it like different parallel universes, like dimensions? Like, what's going on with them?
Like, I think they're aliens, but are they aliens from a different dimension, a different universe? Like, where does this dimension thing they were talking about? Like, where does Blast send people? Where did Blast send Garou when he, like, closed that portal? What was that about? Like, there's, like you said, there's a lot more questions out of here. I think a lot of characters showed great development, great improvement. See here.
I want to get into MVPs, but what's the opposite of an MVP? Is there a term for that?
Ooh.
Opposite of MVP? Ooh. I don't know. Failure? Failure dog? I don't know.
All right. Okay. I feel like you both are going to say am I, and I understand. But I'd like to put out someone else who did some work, but...
Are you going to say Pig
Drive
God?
Night. No, Pig God's one of the MVPs. No, Pig God's incredible.
Oh, Matt was the one that made me change my mind. Well, it's not like I had a negative opinion on him, but I didn't look at him in a positive light until Matt spoke about like how heroic he was.
Pig God came in clutch too many times.
Yeah, he was saving people. I agree, even heroes. But
now,
Drive
Night,
let's hear it.
To his credit, took down a cadre. You know, I'm not going to take that away from him. That's incredible. And of course, teamed up with Genos. He had the great chase. Like, the chasing is incredible.
Oh, yeah, now you actually got to explain yourself. That's right. He was chasing after Sairochi, bro. He was suited up, hit it. Yeah, what's up? What's going on, bro?
Second girl is, like, in trouble. And he's like, I can't fight him. I can't fight. Oh, where's Blast? I'm out of energy. Oh, no. Ow. Oh, my back. I threw my back out. I transformed into the centaur, and my back went out. Oh, no. Genos had to come in and save the day. Also, the exact moment, like right, we've beaten Psycho. She's like, okay, bye, Genos. And he throws him in the air and flies off. And then he's done for the arc. Like, he's just done. And I'm like, thanks. Where's Blast? I don't know. Okay, you can die then. I don't.
That's right. I forgot about him asking about Blast so much, bro. It's gotta be. That's what it is. It's gotta be tech, bro. It's gotta be tech. It's gotta be tech. It's gotta be tech. Blast. So, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I wanted to be clear. I give him the credit of like some great scenes, but don't trust Metal Knight. Why? He's a bad guy.
No, that moment, dog. When he said that, I literally said, he is lying to y'all. He's straight lying to y'all. What type of bullshit excuse is that?
Like, what?
That man had no facts. He said, "Just trust me." What? No. What are you talking about, bro?
Oh shit, bro.
I just want to make clear my grievances with Drive Night right now. So when he shows up in the future, like, very cool. Got some cool scenes. Get the fuck away from me, Drive Night. I don't want you anywhere near us.
Yeah,
we follow Metal Knight. Actually, I don't even know. Metal Knight I don't particularly like because everything happened and it was literally at the very end of the arc shows was like, I'm here. What did I miss?
So
literally
disappointing.
a scavenger, bro.
Yup.
Mate,
So
it's
disappointing.
like the scene. I don't know if you guys seen Community or the GIF where Donald Glover walks into the room and everything's just on fire.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's what it was with Metal Knight. He just walked in and was like, I mean, he cured the cancer, which was great. Shout out to that.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know. Talking about the opposite of the MVP. This has nothing to do with my personal vendetta. This is simply talking about accomplishments or relevance in the story. To be honest, Flashy's on the bottom or the middle to bottom end of the relevance in the story. He was hiding around with Saitama, the individual who's hiding from the storyline the entire time. Like half of Flashy's time in this arc was with Saitama just wandering around with Monaco.
Maybe I'm biased. I like that.
Cool. I'm just talking about in regards to MVP. I'm not saying that was
fine.
bad.
Cool. That's fine. No, carry on. You let me talk. I'll let you talk.
Yeah. It built the story for sure. But it's clear that Saitama was just wandering around. Like, why have this character wandering around besides the honestly, for any reason. For any reason. You just had nothing to do with him. Like, for example, Pig God is the other person who I'd put in this category for that very reason. Because in the Gums Exchange Underground, we didn't get to see that much of it. It was a few little panels of them wrestling, and that was really it. Then on the surface, sure, he's putting in work trying to save Tank Top. And I love that exchange. Like I said before, it set the tone for the surface fight, in my personal opinion. But, like, I wanted more from him. He didn't really get to do that much. And that is more than what Flashy did. Yeah, Flashy got a few exchanges in the Garou Platinum fight. Oh, that was badass. But, like, I wanted to see I wanted him to show up on the surface to make a difference. That's why I say that in regards to like guy aside from Amai, because he obviously wins it. The other two candidates to me would be Flashy and Pig God, because it seemed as if they were lollygagging in the arc.
Oh man, I don't know where to go with this. I don't know where to go. I was going through like every hero in my mind. Of course, Amai, you know what he showed or what he didn't show.
Yeah.
Darkshine was disappointing, very disappointing. And although he got some of his groove back during the surface, he had a poor showing in almost every facet of the situation, other than like when they literally when they first showed up. Because he goes and fight Garou, good fight. I'll give him that, good fight. But he gets shaken to his core, to where he's curled up in a fetal position. Bad look already. Goes to the surface. He has the little, GQ with the water. You know what I'm saying? That all right, I'll give you that. But then the acid and then golden spurt, no. Nah. Like I'll give Darkshine I'll give him his flowers just for being there in the situation, just for not running away after getting his ass whooped. But he had a poor showing in almost every single situation. He caught 0 dubs other than showing up and then beating Butt God. That's it. That's about it.
Okay, I want to talk about a couple of my moments that stand out to me as failures. I have to mention it. I don't like saying this. Trust me, I don't. But Tank Top Master,
yeah.
I mean, in terms of things to do, don't get me wrong, Tank Top Magic's an actual thing. Okay, he brought that as that's a real thing. There's generally magic in the tank top, and I fully believe that because of his heart starting again when he sort of picked up the tank top, it went back down. But in terms of things to do, I know I never expect him to do anything anyway, because he barely held his own against Garou. So he can kind of hold his own against the demon and up against the cadres, but still, you guys know I should talk about it, but I really don't want to because I really like Tank Top Master. So the two moments of Amaya I wanted to quickly talk about were, because it popped into my head, was when he was very much asking for help on the comms. And he's just super guys, can just someone swap out for me? Please, someone. And Tats is thank you, Satsuki, let's go!
Okay, Giza Satsuki. Okay, all right, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
And then, I don't know, that's what I'm saying. And Tats is no, go away. I don't have time for you. She's, once again, that was also a moment that made me go, thank you, Tats. This is kind of where I was really turning. But there's a moment that's super underrated because of the redraws. And it's to do with Ian, where he keeps trying to provoke Ian after he saves them from killing everyone. And even Atomic fell for these provocations, right? Where he was trying to say I'm better than you, and Atomic really fell for it. But he kept trying to do it with Ian, and Ian was just not taking any of it. It was so good. He kept trying to be you weaker than me, and he was you know what, I am. Thank you for the guidance. I need to improve. And everything he kept trying to do to get under Ian's skin just wasn't working. Ian was I'll work to get better. Thank you for that. And it was just so good of Ian. That was a great Ian moment.
Good discipline, man.
Hell yeah, bro. You know, bro. They're shocked, bro. I mean, good.
I gotta give Sweet Mass one thing. One thing I actually agreed with him on two things. I think he had something where I think he was talking down to Darkshine and saying what they needed to do. It was that moment, but I'm talking about recently when he said, "Yo, we gotta kill Garou." I was like, "Yeah." If I was a hero, I would have said the same shit. I would have been yeah, we gotta kill him. I'm not trying to have this fairy tale ending with this crazy dude. Nah, we gotta kill him.
Yeah, kill that nigga, bro. He's about to destroy the earth.
Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me. I feel because I've been talking I'm talking bad about Amai a lot. Like, I'm glad you're right about the Dark Shine moment. That's a really good moment of his, where he's proper just like, you've got to get better, mate. We need you to be better than you are. Like, it's super good.
No, I agree though. He's definitely a candidate for worst of the arc, and a bigger candidate than Flashy. I'll take that back. Yeah, if I were to give a top 3, it would be Amai, Pig God, and Flashy, or even take out Pig God and put Tank Top. Amai, Tank Top, and Dark Shine. You guys are right, because I definitely, and it's not as if they didn't have the opportunity to do more. Like, the fact that you involved Tank Top in the arc, your fault.
Yeah.
Your fault.
I'm trying to think, like, would things change if we took Tank Top out of the arc? I don't think much would change.
A little, yeah. People wouldn't be alive as much because the whole thing was basically he was like a
Oh, people wouldn't be alive as much. What is that?
I forgot about the whole battery thing. Oh my god.
Oh shit.
Like, he was literally like he was like jump starting people, bro. That's what he was. He was jumper cables.
He threw the whole building to attack Sairochi.
That's true. Yeah, he got them all up there. Give credit to
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that whole sequence.
Because, like, with Bam, I want to give them credit where credit's due. Because if we're also just going to slander them.
Yeah, for a fact. I mean, we're obviously talking about, like, S-class fighters. Like, we're not talking about, like, demons, or we're not talking about, like, whatchamacallit, B and C class guys who are like showing out, which we should actually talk about. Like, since we're about to talk about the MVP of the arc, or some of the MVPs, we should probably also talk about of the support team who showed out the most. Because yeah, man, like
I think we also got to talk about who changed our expectations of them. I know we kind of already talked about this, but it was more in the context of S class. But like who like showed the most improvement to what we seen in the previous arc. I already know what my answer is, but I think that'll be a good thing too. The most improved character.
Most improved.
In terms of, I mean, if you're talking like just pure, I mean, they weren't in previous arc, but if we're talking like big improvements, like Gearspa sticks out immediately for just that one moment against Neon. Because he was just a fake psychic, then out of nowhere he just throws the one attack that's like Tatsumaki level.
Maybe Puri?
Like, Puri had big step ups, yeah. I mean, like, in terms of.
Oh, yeah.
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 I respect
vibration
it.
Shit. Yeah. What else?
Or some of the best art. I mean, like,
we
talk about this, but that panel where he just throws the big punch.
Oh my god.
Super.
Let me see if I can find that. What chapter is that? Like one.
I can tell you.
Shit.
I'm trying to think of like highlights of the support team, really, because before we talk about MVPs, like, I mean, Captain Mizuki, like, I love her, she's sick, like, just another girl in One Punch Man who's great. I'm happy with that. The supports, One Shotter was pretty good. I liked One Shotter.
Oh boy,
it was good until his gun jammed.
Yep.
There was Needle Star. I'm trying to remember the support team. Poison had potential.
There wasn't a lot of big players, but those were some of the key guys.
Yeah,
I'm looking through the chat now.
They had everyone. I feel like they took enough time to be like, okay, there's a moment. They at least had one, and that was okay.
Yeah. Got rid of some of the riffraff. You know, they got to show what they were, what level they were at, and like, I think it was also good too, just because it showed us like what it kind of like gave us a summary of what the ranks were capable of. Like, this is what B can do, this is what A can do, this is what C can do.
Yeah, it gave everyone like, and what, like I said, I think something I do really like is everyone had pretty unique designs to the point where, like, even if I don't remember their name, I can look and go, you did that thing, I remember you because you look like that, and you did this.
Yes,
which is super good.
Yes, yeah. That's for a fact, because I'm not gonna remember. It's the way these are set up. Like, you're not supposed to remember the C class that like deflected the fodder Deep Sea King's tentacle and then countered. Like, you can, like, I remember Bones out there doing that thing, Like Bones. Yeah, I remember a boy, but like
we love Bones. We love
bro,
Bones.
hey. Like shit, drink your milk.
Oh,
Kids.
are you drinking milk? Okay, cool.
All right.
But yeah, it's hard to remember these names. It's hard too. I was gonna say that not just for the support team for the S Class 2 to decide who's most improved, because a lot of this was the first introductory fight. This was Darkshine's first time cutting loose. So for us to say that he's improved, he hasn't got a chance to improve.
I think I know who Satsuki's thinking. I've got an idea in my head who he's thinking about.
Come on, now, that's me. It should be easy. Everybody
I mean, like,
knows.
okay. Well, now I know, but
With Tatsumaki's booty grow a little bit more, or like, is that most?
No. He actually did do that though. Like that, you're joking, but he actually noticeably he noticeably made Tatsumaki more curvy.
Yeah,
like that. That's an actual thing.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
That's a good
100%.
thing too. That's a good thing, Murata. Good job. Well done.
I mean, sorry, you go. It's your thing. Do it.
The sister, come on now. The Fubuki.
Booty.
Come on, man. I was especially happy with this because I like Fubuki since her introduction. Obviously, because of her design, that has a factor in it. I don't like when people say, "Oh no, it's purely because of." No, it's because of her design that I paid attention to her, and then I stayed to like her because of her character. A lot of people kind of like wrote Fubuki off as just like, asshole, trash, Tatsumaki better, but I like how they built upon like her inferiority to her sister, and then we got the little connection to Psychos that still has to be built on. But like even just like her wanting to have her group, having her group decimated, Tatsumaki talking trash, saying like, "Yo, why are you surrounding yourself with these bums? Like, come on now, what you doing?" And then her having like this kind of found family in Saitama, Genos, Bang, Bomb, and how she actually was a real leader. It's kind of like, I mean, this is another one story with Mob Psycho with a character like Reagan, where he kind of like bullshits his way through things and he talks certain things into existence. It's kind of like the same storyline of that, where Fubuki was claiming that they were in her group the entire time, and she kind of willed herself into being that leader because she was doing a lot of great shit that arc with the whole powering up Bomb and Bang, healing people. Impressive showing, especially considering her rank and what we seen from her last time. Last arc, she was up there getting in a high diff fight with Does. And then next arc, like she's key support character and then ends up beating Does. So
I mean, she does a lot. She helps hold off attacks from Rover, who we've established is crazy. Like one of the cadres. For someone who's B class to hold her own against like help against the dragon is actually super impressive. And like you said, I love that scene where she actually just talks to Tatsumaki. And it's like there's no sort of, but they actually just like, I want to prove that my way's right. I understand your way gets results, but my way is no means a bad way either. Like, it's super.
You know what's interesting that you point that out? I remember, like, it was always weird. We always clown at how, like, Saitama will do something crazy, and then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, he helped out in this fight," and he'll jump up a bunch of ranks, right? Oh, just like you pointed out, a B class helping up against a big dragon. It's impressive, very impressive. And they're actually giving him credit for that. He is jumping up crazy ranks. That is happening. So like, Ian did the same thing. Spring Mustachio did the same thing. Fubuki has done the same thing. Like, so has Saitama's growth or like projection throughout the ranks been accurate? Like, has it been accurate
as to what they perceive? Like,
yeah. Like if we're because our literal perception of B and C class heroes and A class heroes fighting up against dragons is very impressive, as Matt put it. So that's what the people are seeing too. They're seeing a C and D and whatever class hero showing out up against dragons. So that's impressive. So has his growth throughout the ranks been appropriate? And it shouldn't be that he's in S class. Like they're not directly seeing what he did. So like them hyping him up this much is appropriate. Like do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like for what they know of what he's done is it's a pretty accurate rate of progression. Like if you were to write the achievements that they have for Saitama, then it would make sense where his rank is. But of course, obviously, the dramatic irony is what we know him to have done. Thinking about that, the Deep Sea King thing will always like mess with my head. Like I can't ever get that out of my head. How they didn't give him that.
I think something though that has changed massively this arc is Saitama's got new friends. Like, don't forget, he's friends with King now. Like, if he really wants that kind of like, King wants Saitama to get respect. Like, King recognizes that Saitama should deserve like what he's got. So in theory, if there's ever like an argument where like I don't think we should put him into A class, all King really have to do would go move him up, and then they do it because
they'll do it for sure.
They're not going to argue with King. They're like, because you also brought up Reagan, which Conman, I want to talk about one of the first MVPs of this arc. I want to talk about King because like he didn't have much, but what he did was.
All three of the cadres at the same time, they were like, "Yo, King, bro!" Like Holmes was literally about to kill himself, bro. Just in the presence of King, like he was just like, and then, bro, even Black Sperm himself. I remember this. I remember how it happened exactly, bro. Exactly.
Yeah.
Bro, it was weird, bro. Even after Water wasn't taken off him against King, the strongest threat there is, bro. Why is that? What's going on here? And then Black Sperm was like, oh my God. King turned off his killing intent preemptively. Bro, he's like 14 steps ahead of us. He's gonna body us, bro. He had to go platinum, but he had to. It was the only way. Like it was bro, King bodied them niggas, bro. Just straight. I'm spitting, bro. That's how hard King bodied them, bro. Like, damn.
That whole scene is so King. I love it. Like, it couldn't have gone better. I mean, when Garou shows up, takes him out, and he looks at his hands, he's like, did I actually just fire my attacker? And then, like, Child Emperor's building him up. He's like, he's about to fire his ultimate Hellfire Burst motion cannon. Of course he's gonna. We're just gonna clear the way so King can kill them all at once. And it's like, the Legend of King is gonna be so great because people are just gonna believe this now. No one knows Garou did this. Everyone, all the S-Class heroes were like, was it crazy when King took down 3 of the cadres at once? That was insane. Ooh. And that's just, it's so good. I'm ready for more King.
I wonder how they're going to continue to justify King not being like, I could still see why they would have Blast number 1, but how can they justify King not being number 2 at this point?
Like, this is the thing. I remember having this conversation with Tatsumaki when she was really doing everything. We were like, why isn't Tatsumaki really number 1? Because of all the work she's putting in. I don't remember what answer was, because we obviously don't know the answer. And we kind of know what we know more. We know what Blast can do.
Well, yeah, we do know the answer. It's because fucking Blast right now is fighting Cosmic Garou, and it's a toss-up. I'm making a video. I promise you I'm making a video titled Current Blast versus Cosmic Garou as a toss-up. I'm making that video, bit.
No, I don't believe you. You're lying. Oh my God. How can you lie about something like this? This is disgusting behavior, Grim. Come on. Be honest for once. Come on, this is the podcast.
Yeah, I'm just saying, bro. We know why. As a matter of fact, I would like you guys to clarify that question because to me it's clear why Tatsumaki cannot be number 1. And
here's what I'd argue for Tatsumaki being number 1. Is I'm not ignore power because like a big part of what a hero does is I guess like how useful they are in terms of day to day, and of course Blast constantly saving. Like if he's constantly fighting off against like these supernatural threats that Earth doesn't even see, yeah. But popularity wise,
supernatural
and like
threats,
what any normal person would see is Blast never around, but Tatsumaki's constantly saving everyone. Like that's what the average person on the street would see. So the reason it would is because if anyone from like this is like, man, Tatsumaki, she said the day, no one knows Blast was here, really. Like Tatsumaki does. And it might even be a case of if she was offered S-Class rank 1, she might turn it down and be like, that's Blast spot, that's not mine. But I think there's still a solid argument for Tatsumaki being S-Class rank 1, not in terms of power, but in terms of general usefulness that the world knows.
Okay, here's because I clearly understand what you're saying. But right now, as of 5 years ago, even when we were reading the story, we did not have a reason for Blast being number 1. That has not been clarified. Like, we can assume that because of Tatsumaki's demeanor in regards to Blast. That's because of strength. I just don't see. No, I can't say I don't see. I clearly see and I agree with that. She took the full responsibility. She said it when we were at the meeting in chapter 93. She's like, y'all relax. I'll take care of everything. Don't worry about it. And I remember, like, I think it was last year where we got that meme. Niggas started changing the meme. Remember the panel in the Super Fight arc where it's like the strong, it's Tatsumaki, Garou, Suryu, whatever. They switched that up and they put all the heroes getting clapped. They put Darkshine screaming, Atomic Samurai just clapped, bruh. Zombie Man like blown off and dead, bruh. Yeah, and a Mai in the corner. The strong. it was top tier memes, bro. Top tier memes, like. That you definitely have that connection there, but like to say that because there is more contention there, right? Child Emperor also was, the literal leader of the actual assault, the one who was facilitating communication or whatever. Even during earlier in the podcast, we talked about the little joke between Tatsumaki and Amai whenever Amai was calling for help over the intercom. It was Child Emperor who told everybody and gave them the expectation that, hey, you're not going to be able to get help. And what happened to Amai? He couldn't get help. Like, I think, and I'm not saying that Child Emperor is equal competition for responsibility, with Tatsumaki in regards to responsibility. I still think that her literal actions show a great difference there. She did protect everybody during the base lift. She did literally shield everybody. And then once she was able to confirm that everyone was safe, then she cut loose and started deflecting earth cutters like it was nothing. Like, for a fact, she was consciously fighting and consciously aware of her actions. She was, if not the most responsible hero on the battlefield. I can agree to that. I was trying to hype up Atomic as well because he seemed to be the one, aside from Tatsumaki, that was taking on the threats on the surface, the cadres. Like, at the end, it was Golden Sperm with homeless in the background that was walking up to Atomic. But even after Tatsumaki got fucking wasted and was bleeding out from taking on Sairochi, she got right back up and kept fighting Black Sperm. Even was fighting with her sister so she can keep fighting. Like, I can agree with that. I just can't ignore Blast. Like, they were giving him the benefit of the doubt when we didn't have these facts about Tatsumaki, when we didn't have these facts about Blast, and now I have facts about Tatsumaki and I have facts about Blast, and there is no benefit of the doubt to give. Like, Blast deserves the number 1 spot. I don't think you understand when I say that right now I think that Blast can fight Cosmic Garou and it's a toss-up. I really mean that shit, bro. I really mean that shit. Like, Garou didn't. There was once or twice where he used his portals in a way differently than Blast did. And even then, Blast is the one who uses portals better by being able to deflect and redirect every single one of Garou's attacks. Like, nuclear fission attacks, gravity knuckle, nuclear fission combo attacks, everything. I think Blast is the number 1 hero, and I don't think there's a strong enough argument for Tatsumaki yet.
Think the issue is or why we still question why Blast is number 1 is how much does the Hero Association know? Like, we as readers understand his power, but when was Blast able to display this power to solidify him as number 1 unquestionably? That's my question. Now, we speculated on this before because this topic wasn't necessarily, it wasn't the same topic, but it was around the same thing as to why Tatsumaki's number 2, considering everything she's done. And I was of the mind that Tatsumaki probably might have been offered the spot of rank number 1, but turned it down knowing that she was inferior to Blast and Power. I think that would be a plausible thing, just because, again, I don't know how the Hero Association would know how strong Blast is unless he showed it in some way somehow. I don't know, because it's hard to show your power off like that without a threat to properly scale it.
Yeah, the only person for that would have to be Sitch, just being like, trust me, he's number 1. Like, because obviously he's never around. Sitch is the only real contact. So it's basically Sitch's word just saying he's the strongest, which is crazy considering they've also got records, obviously, like King. They literally call him the strongest hero. And also Saitama, who they've got records of him actually just demolishing every record that was set previously. And like obviously Saitama's a bit of a loop because they don't fully believe that he's as strong as he is. They think he's cheated. But still, they've got records of like other heroes doing amazing things, and for still them to be like, he's got to be number 1. That's purely got to be Sitch, because he's the only person it could be.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited because I think you were talking about earlier, and you just mentioned about people knowing about people's strengths. Garou seems to remember Saitama, the bald guy. So, if he is to be inducted into the association as is being implied in the last chapter, whenever Bang rehabilitates him, as it were, we could potentially see an acknowledgement of Saitama's capabilities from not only Flashy Flash now, but as well as Garou. We're even now in a position where Genos knows more about Saitama's power than even he does. Because remember before, Genos didn't know how strong Saitama really was. He wasn't there during the Boros fight. He just saw him after. But here, he got to see the entirety of that fight. Everything that happened there. Like, the prospects are extreme, and I mean, like, so we've had the arc pretty much a lot. Yeah, were there any like bad part? I mean, we talked about the redraws being a bad part already, right? Was there anything else you were disappointed by? Like I know there's a lot of complaints during the Sage portion. Was Sage Centipede a negative for the arc? Looking back on it now, or is it like not even something that you remember?
It's just, to me, it's just disappointing. It's not something I hate. It's just something like I could have lived without this.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't really do much for me.
Yeah, I think the biggest disappointment is probably because we all obviously love Elder Centipede. There's a joke that basically there is literally almost a segment in every podcast where Grim likes to talk about Elder Centipede. And so when you build up this Sage Centipede, who's like the next level, we're all like, let's go. And it wasn't really there. There wasn't anything like particularly new to Sage Centipede. It was like, I'm bigger, stronger Elder Centipede. And
yeah,
that was kind of it. And like, I really like how they beat him. It's really cool when Garou like just splits him from like the atmosphere down. That's really cool. But it wasn't really needed, you know? Like, it just felt like an extra step that we didn't need to take.
That panel where Sage is like pulling out of the atmosphere and we see the moon in the background. Oh my god, that was so good. Like,
super good.
There were so many godly panels in this arc. You could do a whole video just pointing out the godliness of the panels in this arc, bro. From the hallways in the beginning, bro. But we haven't talked about hallways in years, bro. That was that thing in the beginning, bro. Oh my god. The Phoenix panels, bro. The Emperor Nova, bro. The base lift itself, bro. The shaking of the cities, bro. Like, oh my god, this arc has been crazy for the art, bro. Like, man, you got the panels of Atomic, the redrawn panels of Atomic just flying around doing that thing in the air and shit. What else? The Pooty art, just all the time, bitch, just all the time, bro. What else is badass out there? Mizuki. Oh, Mizuki. Oh my, bro. Bro, just out there doing what else was that thing out there, bro? You had a Roti once or twice. Was that thing in the beginning, especially Prima Roti before he was redrawn? Oh my god, that looked so good. Oh my god. Seeing God on the moon in those different instances. What else?
I mean, in terms of art, you can literally pick any page. I bet you can find something great, to be honest. Like, all the late stuff was beautiful, I'll be honest. I really liked a lot of the art with Saitama and Garou. It was super good.
Garou versus Darkshine.
Garou versus Darkshine had some absolute bangers. Like, we talked about Puri earlier as well. Like, everything they did with, like, Homeless and the Energy Balls was super creative. Sairochi and the Earth Cutter, I mean, like, talk about beautiful panels, everything to do with God. All the martial arts looks good. It's just such a beautiful series, isn't it? I mean, that's what I really was impressed with. I think one of the greatest things about the Saitama Garou fight was every 2 weeks we were getting this insane quality art. And I know it was prep before it, but still, to get that every 2 weeks, 40 to 50 pages is insane. So when he took a month off, I was like, take the month, you've earned this. I'm not going to question it. You take your time. Even if it took 2 months off, it'd be a little sad, but rest. You need your rest after putting out stuff like this.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive because when we first did the podcast, One Punch Man wasn't on a set schedule as to where we're getting 2 weeks every chapter. It was more so almost 3 to 4 that we would get a new chapter. It was monthly almost. But then I don't know when it was. It may have been last year or so. Every 2 weeks, and it's this high quality. The quality has not diminished in any regard. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, 100%.
I wanna bring up this one thing because as you guys were talking about the acknowledgement of Saitama, this thing clicked in my head because this has been a theory of mine for a while. I don't know when I first said it, but this adds more purpose to it for it happening. I said that Saitama is probably going to fight Tatsumaki just because as we've been seeing throughout One Punch Man, Saitama has been fighting the pinnacle of whatever style you want to name, martial arts, tech he'll probably do, whatever it may be. And I think Tatsumaki is the pinnacle of espers. Maybe not so because we saw Blast's team, so the girl that was with him, maybe that. But as we know right now, Tatsumaki is the best esper. I said just because of that, those two might fight. But now thinking about the acknowledgement factor of it, I think that would be an added layer to it because Saitama has been earning the respect of different S-class heroes. Ben knew how strong he was. I think Bang is still in the dark about it, but he knows something is up.
Bang knows that Saitama's a lot stronger than him, but there's not many people who genuinely know how really strong Saitama is. Yeah,
he doesn't have the full scope of it, but he's he knows, but he doesn't know all the way. That's it. But it's more progressively more S-class heroes are learning how strong Saitama is. I think at some point, more S-class heroes I don't know, Darkshine,
Child Emperor, really, because I had that little moment.
Yeah, Child Emperor, Atomic, especially Atomic because he clowns Saitama.
We'll get that.
So yeah, he definitely got to know. But the hardest people to convince would be Tatsumaki and Sweet Mask.
Yeah.
Isn't it anime filler? I think it's only anime filler. That I saw. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Exactly what about that's it's filler, mate. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless there's something Amai is hiding and he knows something that we don't. As far as we know, he really doesn't know anything about Saitama.
Okay, so Tatsumaki is a kid. We know how headstrong she is and how stuck in her ways she is. She would definitely be a person that if some other people were saying, "Yo, Saitama S class," given that she already seen Saitama and already has she has an idea in her head that he's not that strong, I think she would be like, "You got to show me, pretty much. You got to show me how strong you are."
Mhm.
And from that point, we would, that whole fight would happen. But that's just my idea. Like I said, like as you guys were talking about it, I was like, oh, this would make this theory more plausible if it were to happen.
Mm-hmm. Like I always thought that, because my initial thought, if anything, would be because the super strong characters always drawn like really simply. So like Saitama, Tatsumaki, Black Sperm. Because originally, like for a long time, I thought Saitama was going to fight Black Sperm because like they're really building him up, like it makes sense.
Mhm.
And then that never happened in the end, and I was wrong on that. So I was kind of with Saitama and Tatsumaki. It kind of fizzled out for me that they might have a clash at some point. But I think you make some good points there. If anything, it probably happened because Saitama just has no problem speaking back to her. Like,
Yeah.
other people, like, it's S-Class Tatsumaki, don't piss her off or anything. Or like, but he, like, from the beginning, literally their first interaction is her saying, "Go away, who's this lost child?" Like,
Yeah.
it would probably just be, like, it might even just escalate in a natural sense where, like, they just keep talking shit to each other. And eventually she hits him and he's like, "What the hell?" And he's just standing there, like, buildings blown apart. And then he's like, "That was my favorite shirt. What are you doing?" Like,
that's a good point too. It could just happen. It could just happen naturally. That's also a thing because I mean shit. We had Flashy Flash who nah, Flashy Flash gotta go, bro.
yeah, right.
Nah. That was one of the wildest things to happen in the art because if he took Saitama's rank as it was, he would have just killed some random guy for no reason.
It's ninjas, they're prideful, man. Like, just on this notion that someone might be faster than him, he has to die.
That's crazy.
When he catches the sword. I'm just saying, when he catches the sword, I still remember freaking out over it. It was.
Oh my god! What are you doing, bro?
I mean, I'm not sure how long we want to go on for. There's just a few characters I know we haven't really spoke about. We haven't like properly touched on Garou and Saitama, and I'll probably say we touched on them in a sec. But one of the MVPs this arc was Genos, and we haven't really spoke about him.
Ooh.
Like moment after moment after moment after moment after moment after moment, he stepped up. Like his entrance, like defeating like G5. The Blue Dragon, helping against Sairochi. The chase, like when it's revealed that Genos has been following the whole thing and he's running up top, is so good. Of the combination, like the constant fight with Black Sperm, winning Tatsumaki's respect, which is one of his biggest feats, I'd say, because that's really difficult to do. Like, even to the point where he has nothing. Like, he's lost his arms, lost his leg. Cosmic Garou, he still charged at him just to do something. Like, I never got the name properly Demon Cyborg until this arc because he just would not stop going after people. Like, he was just such a force. And I know people like to count because he didn't win, but I know at least us three, I know the rest of the podcast like him too. But mate, Genos is fucking sick.
And he's the reason why I will not excuse Flashy Flash, because he was also held out for the majority of the arc. It was during the surface fight, not the surface fight, the Sairochi fight, where he came up there and started making a difference. Like, sure, he may have crushed the remains of G5 in the score beforehand, but that was a little iffy shit. He was out there saving people beforehand. That was the first time he interfered, and since that point, he was that, like, bro, I'm telling you, he should have kept his arms and legs and gotten a rematch against Cosmic. That would have been that thing. Blue Dragon Genos versus Cosmic Garou. Even if he would have lost, I don't care, bro. I don't care. Like, jeez, that would have been everything, bro. Oh my god. Imagine the panel of Garou with Saitama and Blast surrounding him, but instead of Saitama, it's Genos. Like, bro, that would have been a fight. We would have seen more of that. We would have seen that. It wouldn't have just been one punch and then that's it. We would have seen more of that. Man, that would have been ooh. Man.
Listen, the community. We talked about this many times before. The community, and I don't know if it's. I should be able to like separate. Like, you know, there's some people who are just joking, memeing, whatever. But there are people in the community who genuinely don't like Genos because of the losses he takes. They're devastated, but they're. What I hate is there's not like no nuance when looking at it. There's no like, let's look at the context or like, let's look at what this actually means. It's just the result. He lost. He got dismantled. But look at who he's fighting. Look at the intensity of his fights. Look at like this is a real hero. He became a real hero this arc. Like he's always been that tenacious type of character, but like trying to protect people, that's what he was doing in this arc. That's who his character became to be, and that's why that moment with him and Saitama was so touching. Like great
Really, like the best. Like I even just like the visual, not necessarily like telling us why he's grown, but like I remember it's like when he fought Elder Centipede, right? And we looked like he was gonna blow himself up, and then he just gets back because he knows like blow myself up isn't the answer to saving the day. Just sacrifice is not what makes a hero. I mean, like it's like I said, like that's why Tatsumaki likes him now, because she knows he's someone she can actually count on. And that's massive.
I'm telling you, in the story and in real life, the measure of greatness is how much responsibility you take on. And like Genos is on his way, bro. Like Genos is on his way. So we've been going on for a while. This isn't necessarily the only time we're going to be discussing the arc in depth and in length, but it is the first time. So if you've liked this discussion, like the video, subscribe, and let other people know that we do things like this. The arc was spectacular. Expect some additional and supplemental content about this arc, not just from myself or from everybody else. Including tier lists, including character analysis, including all different kinds of things regarding this entire storyline. Boy, was this great. Boy, was this great. Stay tuned, bro. I'm not sure when the chapter's gonna be coming out, so we may probably end up getting together before the next release, because it's been like 2 weeks already, or more than 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that and anticipate that.
It's been 3 weeks now, so he went on break for 4, so it could be next week. If not, we're probably looking the week after. It depends if he takes, which means like 4 full weeks. That's all.
Yeah, if it's 4 full weeks, we'll probably do a podcast before the next release. Just to probably focus on like the improvements or what's gonna happen next. So like the video, subscribe, and we'll see y'all boys next time. Yo!